David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another ink review. Today I have for you an ink from KWZ which will be available to purchase at the upcoming St. Louis Pen Show, which is taking place this upcoming weekend. I've heard a lot of really good things about the St. Louis show. It's a relatively young show, only a couple of years old, but it has quickly gained a reputation for being a show which is very well organized and does a really good job of attracting some quality vendors. I won't be attending the show, but I did attend the Triangle Pen Show a couple of weeks back, and it was great to see some of my old pen friends. I look forward in August to being at DC, as well as making it out to San Francisco. KWZ is an ink company based in Poland near Warsaw, and the gentleman behind the brand is Konrad Wojciech-Żurowski. KWZ is Konrad's initials. The company was founded back in 2012, and at the time, Konrad was a PhD student in polymer chemistry and organic synthesis. He was a fountain pen user and wasn't very pleased with the inks that he could get his hands on, so he decided to try to make some of his own. Okay, in order to get a closer look at this limited edition ink, please join me over here at camera 2. Okay, let's take a look at the KWZ Meet Me in St. Louis ink. This is what it looks like. It's kind of a darker, almost Merlotish type red. The nickname for this ink is Missouri Norton. The Norton is Missouri's state grape, and there is some wine that looks very much like this color. In regard to some color comparisons, this is what it looks like with Diamine Oxblood. Here it is with Private Reserve Burgundy Mist. There's Diamine Red Dragon, Levenger Pomegranate. I've always liked that ink, and Levenger inks never get that much attention, but I always like that pomegranate. Then here it is with a couple of other inks that I enjoy, which are Monteverdi's Cherry Danish, as well as Ferris Wheel Press's Candy Marsala. It's very similar than that, but a little bit lighter, not quite as saturated. Let's take a look at this ink on some 52-gram Tomoe River paper. This is a Q-tip application, and then this is more of a smear, and then this is with a syringe. And so you can tell that it's a lot darker when it's very, very heavily applied. Now, I do apply a lot of ink when I'm doing these, so it's not uncommon to see a little bit of bleeding. But overall, I don't find that the ink bleeds that much. Here we go with the KWZ Meet Me in St. Louis. You can see that this is a fairly saturated ink. There's not a ton of difference in the shading with the different passes. Here for this header and the passes, I'm using this 2.4 millimeter Pilot Parallel. This is Rhodia 80-gram paper. As I mentioned before, the ghosting and bleed is low on here. You can see here that pretty much there was very little ghosting, maybe a tiny bit, but that was on the multiple passes with 4 passes. So I think it rates well in that regard. I'd say the shade is kind of medium to low, and the sheen and shimmer is low as well. Okay, for the pens that I'm using today, I have 3, and first up we have a Lamy Dialogue CC. This was an interesting addition to Lamy's lineup. There was the Dialogue 3, and then this Dialogue CC, which is a little bit shorter and has a different sized in there, but something that I enjoy. So we have the Lamy Dialogue with a lowercase d, and CC, and this is a fine gold nib. Then next up is a pen that I just received and I'm really looking forward to taking a closer look at, which is a pen from the Turkish brand Kilk, and this is the Camera Laterna. So it's all movie themed, and you can see we have the movie film here, and we have film around the band, but then my favorite feature is this finial, which is a film reel, and you can see how that spins around, and it is incredibly smooth. You could just let that spin for a while. So I don't know what kind of mechanism they have in here, but it's incredible because as you can see, I'm just letting it go, and it's going for quite some time. Let's see, how long is it going to take for that to slow down? There, it finally slowed down. But you can see the mechanism in there is really cool. So I'm looking forward to taking a closer look at this pen. So this is the Kilk, again, lowercase. And this is the camera, Laterna. And this has a broad stainless steel nib. And next up is a pen I really enjoy, and that is the Diplomat Elox. I've been a big fan of the Diplomat Aero, and this is just kind of a variation on that design. I just think that the grooves in here with the orange accent is incredible, with the orange section as well. So we have the Diplomat Elox, and this is a medium stainless steel nib. In regard to the writing sample, I thought that I would talk about the film Meet Me in St. Louis. So I have a couple of quotes and information about that. Said here that Meet Me in St. Louis is a 1944 musical taking place at the beginning of the summer of 1903. I think it revolves around the Louisiana's Purchase. Now, it seems like a long time ago, but back in 1944, 1903 was just 41 years prior. So that's like a movie nowadays set back in 1981. So that's basically like watching the show Stranger Things right now. Now, I know Stranger Things is set about 5 years later, but you get the idea. Next up, we have the Kilk, the camera Laterna. I said this film was adapted from some short stories published in the New Yorker magazine. Lately, I've been obsessed with trying to win the New Yorker cartoon caption contest. Maybe one of these days. That would be kind of fun. And then finally, in regard to the Diplomat Elox, I said the movie starred Judy Garland and featured songs like The Trolley Song and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which to this day is one of the most popular holiday songs. Okay, in regard to some other properties, I find the flow to be medium high on here. In regard to drying time, kind of between 15 to 30 seconds there. And then over here, we have some water tests. Let's go ahead. You can see I actually had a drop of water on there, and so you can see how it performs already. But let's go ahead and put some water on here and let this sit for a second while we take a look at some chromatography. I always enjoy doing this chromatography. It's just kind of fun to see the colors separate, and you're never quite sure what you're going to get. In this particular case, you can see that it's rather solid. And this is what the chromatography ended up looking like. You can see, for the most part, it's just different shades of red with some pinks and then some darker reds at the end. But I don't see many other type of colors. Sometimes you'll see some browns or some golds or something like that in there, but it's pretty much some different shades of red. Let's go ahead and see how the water test did. You can see that it, for a short period of time, it held up. But then, I didn't realize when I did that. It must have been last night. But you can see over time, if you have water on there, then it pretty much dissolves everything. But it doesn't claim to be waterproof. And then finally, I said that KWZ Meet Me in St. Louis will be available to purchase at this upcoming weekend's St. Louis Pen Show. Like I said, I've heard really good things about the St. Louis show. It's really well organized. And as I mentioned up at the top, I'm looking forward to getting back to some other shows here soon. It was really fun to see a lot of pen friends in the Triangle show, and look forward to seeing even more in DC as well as San Francisco. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.